a printer that's generating excitement, especially among creators. Welcome back to Techstination. I'm Fred Fishkin. Joining us from Anchor's Eufy brand is Brett White. Hi, Brett.
Hi, Fred. How are you?
Great. Well, good to see you once again. And what we're talking about is a very different kind of printer, the eufyMake UV Printer E1. That's quite a name. Tell us about it.
Yeah, different is a great way to describe it, Fred, in that this is the world's first personal 3D textured printer. And when I say textured printing, this is different than typical 3D printing that was normally used to print out, maybe action figures, or some people would print pieces to replace like a cabinet, or it was also used for 3D modeling of maybe architecture, buildings, things like that. And what this UV printing is really textured printing that can print designs, font, layers up to 5 millimeters thick, which really doesn't sound, that big. But when you look at some of the final print jobs and the examples, I know you've got some video and some images that I've shared with you. I think you'll really see this is really a completely different type of a creative tool. And when I say personal printing use, this type of capability has been available at the commercial use. And these printers were you would fill up an entire room or an entire desktop. And the form factor of the E1 is really small enough to sit on the corner of your desk, but still gives you a great amount of flexibility in terms of size of print jobs, and then also the types of surfaces that you can print directly onto, including acrylic, glass, wood, metal. So this just gives a great amount of flexibility, a great amount of creativity, of really almost anything you can think of being able to print that directly onto your canvas, as opposed to, maybe some more kind of primitive printers will allow you to print a design onto like maybe a latex sticker, and then you apply the sticker to, whatever the object is that you want to decorate. This UV printer actually uses cured ink to print the actual artwork directly onto the surface.
Let's take a look at a little video so we get a better grasp.
Introducing the world's first personal UV printer. Now it is time to make your ideas pop up on various objects. Let's meet the new partner in creativity. 3D texture up to 5 millimeters. Every texture you can think of. Embossing, brush strokes, faux leather, marble texture, and more. Vibrant, lasting, true to life colors. Compatible with various materials. Compact size, endless possibilities. 3-in-1 modular design for every need. Go big, go small, or go intricate. It's your call. One-stop intelligent creative workflow. Explore over 50,000 exclusive projects at your fingertips. Design masterpieces in seconds with AI tools. Print automatic perfect print alignment. Patented smart self-cleaning technology. Clog-free, stress-free, always ready, safe, environmental friendly, compact, limitless for creators everywhere. Make it textured, make it vibrant, make it real with eufyMake.
Brett, step us through the process here. Is this something that's really complicated to use, or what should people expect?
Right. The product team and the engineers have worked really, really diligently to make this product easy to use, whether you are an experienced maker or a 3D printer, or someone who's worked with this type of creative tool, or if you're using it for the first time. So really what's key is the eufyMake app allows the user to pick the different design or upload a original design of their own to the software, and then download that into the machine, and then work with all the different varieties of ink to then get that printed out onto the surface. And one other thing I should mention is, along with printing on flat surfaces, there's optional accessories that the E1 can work with, including one that's a really cool use. It's a cylinder type of accessory that basically, if you wanted to print a design onto the surface of maybe a mug or like a Stanley cup or a vase, basically obviously a round cylindrical device, you could do that directly onto the surface of that cylinder using this special accessory that's optional for additional purchase with the E1.
A Stanley Cup?
Exactly. Yeah. What's all the rage with, I know with my teenage daughter and with a lot of people that are very active, like to work out, you basically could align the object basically inside this little cylindrical accessory, and it basically rotates the mug or the cup, in a counterclockwise fashion that then lays the design work really slowly and really carefully onto the mug. It's very seamless, and it actually turns out looking really, really cool.
And does it take a certain kind of surface with a mug for this to work?
Really, I think anything that has a flat surface will work best. If you had something that was a little more kind of ridged, or maybe had maybe like an indented type of surface, that might be a little bit more of a challenge. But most surfaces for a mug or for basically any cylindrical object, as long as it's a flat surface, normally the print jobs are pretty seamless.
Interesting. Well, I got to explain something. I'm here in the Northeast, and when you said Stanley Cup, I'm thinking hockey championship. You're talking about
No, that's a great point. No, this is basically, it's become kind of I know down I'm based in Fort Worth, Texas. The Yeti coolers are kind of, all the rage as far as like having, that to put your cold drinks in, or, food when you're camping. The Stanley Cup is something, it actually looks a little bit like this Kansas City Chiefs mug that I'm holding right here. Yeah, that basically it's insulated to be able to keep your drinks, your cold drinks cold and your warm drinks warm. So you're welcome for the free advertising for Stanley Cups. But yeah, basically any type of cylindrical surface that you wanted to be able to kind of personalize or customize. Yeah, one of the accessories that's included, again, optionally with the E1, just gives that added layer of flexibility.
I understand it also does some kind of large format kind of printing, photographs, things like that.
Exactly. We just announced another accessory, which is a large printing accessory that basically will attach onto the printing plate and basically allow you to print up to several feet worth of print jobs. And one example I know that I've seen in product testing back at the eufyMake headquarters in China is they took a snowboard, and they were able to feed the snowboard through the UV printer and slowly but surely get a very intricate design printed on the bottom of the surfboard, which is, of the snowboard, which is, very customary that, most professional snowboards and amateurs like to have, either a label or a brand name or some sort of, really kind of eye-catching design on the bottom of their snowboard. And the UV printer actually can make that happen with this new large printing accessory.
Wow, it sounds amazing. And this has taken Kickstarter, I understand, by storm. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's been one of their most successful crowdfunding campaigns ever. I know when I checked the totals yesterday, we'd reached over 37 million backers. Oh, I'm sorry, $37 million in backing, and that's several thousand backers that have already signed on. So yeah, I think this is a great device. I think this is going to be really helpful for people who want to be able to print one of one if they have like maybe their small business on Etsy. I think this would be great for classrooms, for maker spaces, for public libraries. There's just, and one thing that to keep in mind, I mentioned before that previous commercial grade UV printers, while also being incredibly large, we're talking tens of thousands of dollars to own one of those. The actual price for one UV printer, and this is just the standard printing console. The accessories are sold separately, but it'll retail once we emerge from the crowdfunding campaign for full retail availability. It'll sell for $18.99, and so obviously that's a fraction of the cost that you would pay if you wanted to own one of these commercial grade printers. And again, this gives you the flexibility to do this type of print work in your home, small business, in your office, classroom, anywhere that you really want to be creative on a wider range of surfaces and be able to have the ultimate flexibility to print 20 or to print one. You can do it pretty much any way you want using this UV printer.
And if you want a better deal, head to Kickstarter in a hurry, right?
Right. Yeah. Our Kickstarter campaign, the early bird pricing will end on June 22nd. There'll be one more discount period that'll last until June 28th. And then after that, we'll get into the shipment period for our earliest backers. Will start to receive their devices. The shipments will go out starting in July. And we're expecting, if you were one of the early backers, we'll kind of go in order of when your order was placed. It'll probably take between 2 or 3 months to get all of those early backers to get their devices to them. And then obviously we'll be happy to sell a UV printer to, Fred, anyone in your audience, after that.
And this uses different types of, I guess it's ink. Is that what we're saying?
It is. It's a type of special curing ink that basically is able to dry not only incredibly quickly, but also print, like I said, at that kind of textured type of surface. So instead of just printing out, what would be considered a traditional, two-dimensional design, it gives that 3D feel of being able to actually feel with your hands, with touch, different levels of texture that just gives just an extra feel of customization and a lot of just kind of tactile real life feel.
And what do we know about the costs of the ink, the consumables here?
So there's different bundles. Basically, like I said, the basic bundle, which includes the UV printer and then the ink and the cleaning cartridge kit, that'll retail for $18.99. Again, these are all prices that will be following the Kickstarter campaign's conclusion. There'll be a rotary bundle that includes that cylindrical accessory I talked about for a little under $2,200. There's a laminator bundle that includes a UV laminating machine as an optional accessory. That will also sell for about just under $2,200. And then there's a deluxe bundle that includes the UV printer, the ink and the cleaning cartridge kit, the laminating machine, the rotary printing attachment, and the extended large printing attachment. And that will retail for just under $2,800. Now, when it comes time, if you do need to refill your ink, each cartridge sells as part of a kit that includes all the colors that you would need, and that'll retail for about $299.
And how long would that last?
It's hard to really estimate. It depends on the size and the level of the depth of texture that you're using for each print job. But I believe in most of the testing that we've seen that that the ink will last between 30 to 60 print jobs. And as far as the amount of time that each print job takes, an example that I've seen printed, which was a really intricate refrigerator magnet that had the skyline of the Eiffel Tower in Paris on it. I believe that took about a 20-minute print job. For something that's more complex or larger, like the snowboard example I mentioned, that would probably take a couple of hours.
So for more info, where is the place to go?
Fred, you can find everything you need to know about the UV printer, the E1, at eufyMake.com. The E1 is the flagship device. It's the first device that's launched on this new eufyMake brand. And I'm thrilled to see what it's going to do. I think the results from the Kickstarter campaign are a really good sign of things are headed in a great direction. And I'm really excited to see the creativity that comes from all of this.
Again, it's eufyMake.com. Thank you for spending time with us.
Thanks, Fred. Thanks for having me. Have a great day.